Good evening, welcome to We Repair. So today I'm working on an N64 controller. Bought this on eBay as part of a console set. It needs a little bit of love and TLC. You can pretty much see what the problem is in that the analog stick is pretty ropey and it's got a lot of play in it. So we're going to have a go at repairing it. I found on Etsy a third-party company that produce the parts to fix these. So I have bought a little cup and all the mechanics and some graphite powder and a few other bits and bobs to see if we can get this back to life. So I'm going to tear it all down, give it a really good clean and get this fixed. I've not opened one of these up before, so this is going to be a little bit of a voyage of discovery, but it doesn't look too bad from what I can see. So let's get cracking. So from the looks of it, it's mainly Phillips screws along the bottom, which I suspect, knowing the age of the console, they're all going to be pretty similar in size. So I think we'll just work our way through. Let's see if we can get this done. What I will do, which I haven't mentioned, is I will link in the video description where I bought the part. It comes as a kit with everything you need, so at least if anyone else wants to give this a go, I'll link it through. It wasn't too bad. It was, I think, £5 or £6 with the graphite powder on Etsy. So yeah, I'll link it through, and then if anyone else wants to have a go at this repair, then you should be able to get the parts. So from the looks of it, all the screws are the same size, which is great. There are two in there, but I don't know if I need to undo them. So let's just see if this is going to come apart, or am I going to have to undo those as well? No, I think I am going to have to do. There's two small Phillips screws down in there, which hopefully you can see, that just need to be undone. Those, by the looks of it, are a different size. So, I'd imagine, yes, they are a different size, I can confirm. I'd imagine they are going to be an absolute nightmare when I have to do the reassembly. And they're quite long screws, so they need quite a lot of undoing. There we go. And that screw's just fallen out into my hand. So there's our bottom piece. And the little Z trigger. That's a little bit gunky in there, but not too bad. And again, the inner workings of this don't look too bad either. So the bit we're interested in, I'm hoping this is just gonna come apart. I'm just trying to be gentle here as well. So that's our Z trigger there. So let's undo this cable by the looks of things. Out. It's not. Oh, I'll take those out so they don't get in the way. There we go. So that's our cable undone, and I think these three screws should just undo now as well. That's easy. Two. What I'll do, once I fix this, I'm going to give the whole lot a really good clean in some just warm soapy water. And hopefully that'll get all the gunk and dirt off. Now I have also seen, which I'll try and find again a link on it, I found it on Etsy. You can just buy this whole piece, so you don't have to do the repair that I'm about to do. But I'm going to give it a go and see if we can recover this first, and then we'll go from there. I am just going to finish tearing this down, which I'm hoping is all just going to come out now as pretty much one piece. There you go. So that is very much one piece. So let's pop that off to one side. Again, I'm not going to take this fully apart now, but I am going to give it a really good wash. So I'll just pop these buttons with it and pop that over there, and then we'll give that a really good clean. Right, as for this, now it's clipped in there, and there's a single screw. So let's just undo that screw. There is a spring in here, so this might ping apart, so just keep hold of it. Let's pop that off to my mat. Let's just undo these. Let's just see if it's gonna come apart nicely. Oh, that's gross. Come on. There we go. Oh, look at that. There's there's definitely been some deterioration in there. That is for sure. Look at that. Wowza. Oh. Look at that. That's definitely seen better days. Now, I don't know if that's just graphite powder or what, but it's definitely in need of some love. And there's definitely some wear in there. Yeah, you can see if we compare it. If I bring my new one in, so let's take these out of here, and I compare it, you can see my bowl looks much cleaner versus this one. Not so much cleaner as less worn. So we'll have to transfer these gears over, and we've got to try and put this all back together now, which is going to be a little bit of a challenge. So let me get my workspace cleaned up and put aside the parts that we don't need, and then we're going to have a go at getting this in a good state. I'm also going to put some gloves on as well, because I don't want to get covered in this stuff. So I'll pause the video and we'll come back and get repairing. Right, so here we go again. Let's bring all our bits back in. Let's add new pieces. So according to the guide, I need to first assemble this, and I need to put some graphite powder on here. So this came with the kit. This is graphite powder. I think it's going to be easier to take that off and whack my brush straight in there. So the kit says to give this a good going over with graphite powder. Get the stroke button in there. And I'm assuming it's just so it gives you a smooth motion. That's all I can think it would be for.
What?
Don't know if I'm being generous. Oh, that's definitely too generous. It does say to be quite generous, mind you, so maybe I'm being not generous enough. You tell me if you think I'm being over generous in the comments, and let me know. And we can... we'll have a go. And if we can repair it, we can repair it. Great. And if we can, then we can. Right. Oh. Don't knock the graphite powder over. Right. So, first thing we're interested in is this. I've got a brush here. I'm just going to give this a quick once over. I might just grab some isopropylene alcohol and just give it a really good clean. Let's just do that quickly. I just want this to be tidy. It doesn't take 2 seconds for isopropylene to dry, so I'm just giving it a quick once over with a brush. Okay, next thing we want to do is push this back through here. It will only go one way. The little, so just so you've seen what I just did there, there's some little notches in here, and they line up with the little notches on there, so you've got to go through that way and then twist, and then it'll drop down. So that's that. Next thing we want to do is pop our spring on there, and there's a little washer here as well that goes on top. And then we want to take the smaller of the two gears, and what we're going to do, we're going to go like this. We're going to push the spring down, push that over the top, and then twist it 180 degrees so it's locked in position like that. I think that's going to do our back and forth action. So it'll go side to side like that. I think this is right so far anyway. Then, according to the instructions with this kit, we've got to put some graphite powder on here now. Fairly generously. I don't know how much of a difference this will make, but I'm going to do it anyway because that's what it says to do. Okay, next thing we do. Need to get our gears fitted on here, so let's take them off of this, which I'm assuming I can just do this. There we go. That's that gear. I'm hoping it'll just clip back in on the new one.
At.
There we go. So that's clipped in on the new one. And then let's take our other one out. The nice thing about this is all absolutely reversible, so if you do want to go back, you can. So that's now... Ooh! God, this is tricky. It's just positioning it as a fiddle. At least, I know I can buy another one of these if this goes wrong. Right, so there we go. That's that done. Those new gears are done. And then what we're going to do, so let's just have a quick look at how this is going to line up. Because this is going to have to meet that gear, I think. So let's just have a think, because it's going to be just going to drive a gear like that, look. Think about it logically. And then we're going to have to fit it in the casing as well, so I'd imagine it's going to have to sit that way round. So let's turn this little joystick so everything still carries on being locked in. So the next thing we want to do is in this little bowl piece here, we've got to fit our other gear. So you can see now, if we fit that flush, it will only sit up against that gear. So that's all flush in place now. And then we're going to go, I think, like that. And then this will push down, and then that should control everything, in theory. But we're not quite there yet, because we've got to go through the fiddly bit now of lining everything up and getting all the electronics back in as well. So this has to go in here. And what would have been really sensible is if I paid attention when I took it out. So I think that goes that way around, because that's the only way it can logically go. I'll just get this flat. There we go. And then the other thing we want is our little PCB. Again, let's just give that a very quick once over with some IPA as well. Just make sure everything remains clean. I will let it dry quickly before I put it back in.
Right.
Again, I'm assuming this will just slot down like that. Perfect. So there we go, that's that in so far. And then the last bit we want to do is fit this last gear in and push everything back together. I don't really hopes if you get this the right way around, isn't it? That's interesting, so I'm going to have to turn this again now, look, because I've got it that way, and that's now the wrong way. So let's just turn this whole piece. Should have thought about that logically first. Oh, that is so much better. I mean, you guys obviously can't see this, but that is 1,000,000% better from my perspective. Right, so let's just quickly get a screw in here. So this long black one. Oh, Remember how much it was flopping around before? Well, I isn't doing that anymore. Right, the other thing the kit says to do is to get some graphite powder down in here and then to give it a really good wiggle around. I'm assuming that's just to allow everything to sit in nicely. And then either this is going to work really well or I've absolutely broken it. Just giving you a bit of a blow to get rid of any excess. That is 1,000,000% better. That's absolutely breathed so much new life into that controller. I'm really impressed with that. Just needs a bit of a good clean up now just to get rid of any graphite powder on there. So I can do that. And really helps if you use the right lid. So we've gone from a really wobbly, horrible old controller stalk to something that's pretty solid, all for the sake of replacing that little piece and a couple of gears. So I'm really impressed with that for what's involved. So let me get cleaned up here. I'll get the components cleaned up and then we'll do a bit of a reassembly and then I can give it a good test. Right, I've got all my stuff that's been cleaned as best I can get it. Obviously you can see quite a dramatic difference with the front of the controller and things. So we're going to get it all reassembled now, or at least attempt to, because I've got to try and remember where all of these bits went back. So I think we can probably be quite easy about guessing where our start button goes, and we could probably guess where our D-pad goes as well. It's just, we've got it the right way around. And then that little cover goes over the D-pad, like so. I don't think that matters which way it goes. So everything on here, leave our bumpers for a minute and pop this to one side. Everything on here is got notches and grooves and things on it, so you should be able to figure out quite easily where it goes. And if you do it wrong, see like that, it won't let you fit it. So if we do that, there we go. So it should be quite obvious as to where things go and where things are. It's just now figuring out where all the arrow keys go without mucking around too much. Here's one. Oh, that one nearly wants to go in. I think that one goes there. There's two. That one, I imagine, goes not there. Goes up there. It's quicker just to stick them all in, and if they go in, great. If they don't, move them on. So that's that done, and then probably that way around, I would imagine. Cool, so that's all of our buttons back in now. Next thing we will do is pop our board in, so bring this back over. So it's going to go that side down, as opposed to fit over all of our buttons. And it should just line up with the prongs and things, there shouldn't be too much guesswork around it. And then the cable goes a bit like that. And then those two just slot into their slots. You do need to make sure the rubber thing's behind the clip. And then our last thing is to get our controller back in. So I'll plug it in first, and then we'll screw it in. So that controller is the gold screws you took out.
Plug.
Again, it should just line up pretty easily. If it's not lining up, then you're doing something wrong. You probably need a slightly larger screwdriver head, in all fairness, than the one I'm using, but there we go. Cool. Then we'll pop this piece back in, which is our Z key. Again, just make sure your rubber backing's in the right place. Perfect. Transparent, just didn't feel like it was right then, but it actually is, I think. Yeah, it's in the right place. And then the last thing is just to pop our back bumpers on. Which again, which way round are we? That one's left. Should be fairly obvious, but there we go. And the last thing we need to do is just get the bottom on here.
That's good.
Should just slot down into place pretty much. Just like that. Let's grab a better screwdriver than the one I'm using with a bigger head. And that will make my life a little bit easier. As I think the head I'm using is too small at the moment. Right, again, all the all the screws are the same size except for the back two that sit up here. So when you're fixing this back in, you can just put them in anywhere and not worry too much. So far, so good. I genuinely am really pleased with this. I'm surprised at how well actually that kit was made and easy to install. I was expecting it to be a lot more of a faff. I think if you're going to buy the whole joystick assembly, it's probably in the region of £15–20. If you want to put a bit more effort and time in like I did, it'll be £5. So you're probably talking $20 and maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8 US dollars to do the kit. Right, this is where it's going to get very fiddly now. Can I get this in at one? Oh, I'm amazed I managed to do that in one go. See if we can get the other one in one. Hey, I was expecting that to be a lot worse. There we go. It's a little bit of wobble in it, but on the whole, I am super pleased with that whole build and finish. And obviously this controller looks 1,000 times better than when I started working on it. So there we go. What I'll do is I'll drop the links for the whole piece along with the kit, and I'll also pop the link on the how to actually do the work with the graphite powder and things, so that if anyone else wants to have a go, then all the links will be in the description. I really do implore you to have a go. It is such an easy fix. I think this has probably taken me 20 minutes all in all with the cleaning and having the chance to put some IPA across the board and things just to clean it all up. But there we go. If you found it useful, drop me a like. If you want to say thanks, please do, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.